the mystery behind divine origin, a world where the deepest and most entrenched beliefs are called into question. This was the boldness of Marcion, a thinker who, in the early days of Christianity, challenged the prevailing idea of God. For him, the creator of the material world was not a source of goodness and love, but a severe force, associated with judgment and punishment. This surprising and controversial perspective led him to formulate a radical vision. Jesus did not come to reaffirm the laws of this creator God, but to reveal a higher, unknown divine power that transcends human limitations. So, don't miss a second of this video and subscribe now to the B side of the Bible. Your subscription makes all the difference and motivates us to continue. We're counting on you. What led Marcion to think this way? He analyzed the events narrated in the Old Testament and questioned how a supposedly perfect and merciful God could allow tragedies like the flood, the destruction of entire cities, and the sacrifice of innocents. According to him, these actions did not align with the true essence of goodness. For Marcion, there was something more, a superior God, full of compassion and unconditional love, revealed through the words and actions of Jesus. But this revelation was not merely theological. Marcion believed it had profound implications for how we live and understand life. If Jesus was truly the emissary of this higher God, his messages of forgiveness, love for others, and spiritual liberation would be a direct call for us to free ourselves from the chains of fear and the impositions of a punitive creator. Could it be that our entire understanding is based on an incomplete vision, shaped by a God who seeks control rather than freedom? As you delve deeper into this story, the central question becomes inevitable. What is truly hidden in the roots of the faith that has shaped the world for millennia? The encounter with the hidden God. If Marcion's words already shake perceptions of the divine, prepare yourself, for the journey goes even deeper. Imagine a gospel that remained hidden for centuries, containing truths that could challenge everything we know about the relationship between Jesus and the Creator. The Gospel of Judas, discovered in the 1970s, offers a glimpse of a narrative that defies the core of traditional beliefs. In this forbidden text, Judas is not the traitor history portrays, but someone who understood Jesus' true purpose. He recognized that the God worshipped by the disciples was not the supreme God. According to the gospel, this God was an entity associated with control and imperfection, while the true heavenly Father of Jesus was a force of light and unconditional love, completely disconnected from the material world. Judas, in a surprising reversal of roles, is said to have helped Jesus free himself from the shackles of this physical plane, allowing his essence to return to the immortal realm. The text also introduces the enigmatic realm of Barbello, described as a domain of absolute purity where true divinity resides. This place is not a physical space, but a representation of spiritual awakening accessible to anyone seeking to understand the truth beyond imposed narratives. But why were these texts banned? Why did the religious leaders of the time fight so fervently to erase these ideas? The answer is simple yet disturbing. Once people discover that true divinity lies within them, power structures based on fear begin to crumble. The story of Judas, instead of being one of betrayal, becomes a symbol of courage and spiritual understanding. This vision not only changes how we see Judas, but also how we perceive Jesus and his mission. What did his message truly mean? What freedom was he trying to bring to humanity? The pieces of this puzzle have yet to be fully revealed. The confrontation with the power of doctrines. While Marcion challenged dominant beliefs, and the Gospel of Judas emerged as a forbidden puzzle, the early church faced a threat it could not ignore. The idea of replacing a punitive God with a higher divine force, full of compassion and freedom, was not just theological, it was profoundly disruptive. It shook the foundations of a power structure built on submission to the Creator. The Marcionite movement, based on these revelations, grew rapidly, attracting those seeking more than the rigid and severe doctrines of the time. Its followers adopted practices that defied social and religious norms, including gender equality, revolutionary for a patriarchal society, and a rejection of laws that restricted spiritual freedom in favor of direct connection with the higher God. But this growth did not go unnoticed. Religious leaders reacted fiercely. Marcion was declared a heretic, his works destroyed, and his followers persecuted. Prominent theologians like Polycarp spared no effort to discredit his ideas, branding him as the firstborn of Satan. This fierce opposition was not just a battle for faith, it was a struggle for control. Behind this resistance was fear. The fear that if people believed they could access the divine directly, without intermediaries, the structures supporting the church's authority would collapse. Yet, Marcion's ideas were not completely erased. Fragments survived, hidden in Gnostic and apocryphal texts, waiting for the right moment to be rediscovered. The truth and the call to transformation. After centuries of silence, the echoes of Marcion's ideas in Gnostic texts continue to resonate, challenging not only traditional religious doctrines, but also the way we view our own spirituality. Texts like the Gospel of Judas and other apocrypha reveal a disquieting truth. Perhaps we do not need to seek the divine in temples or intermediaries, but rather within ourselves. At the heart of this message lies a revolutionary idea. Spiritual freedom can only be achieved when we break the chains of fear. Throughout history, the notion of a punitive God has been used as a powerful tool of control. Wars have been fought, societies shaped, and lives destroyed in the name of a deity demanding absolute obedience. But what if this image is not the true essence of God, but rather a reflection of human intentions for power? The Gospel of Judas offers an alternative. It suggests that the supreme God, described as a force of infinite love and transcendent light, is accessible to all who are willing to look beyond imposed narratives. This God is not interested in punishment or judgment, but in a pure and transformative connection with each individual. This idea is symbolized by the realm of Barbello, a metaphor for spiritual awakening that frees us from the limitations imposed by external structures. Judas, far from being the traitor vilified by history, is portrayed as someone who understood Jesus' greater purpose. He represents those who dare to question, refuse to accept things as they are, and seek a higher truth. This narrative invites us all to do the same, to abandon fear, guilt, and submission, and embrace a journey of self-discovery and divine connection. But the question remains, why were these ideas hidden for so long? Perhaps because they offer something that threatens the status quo, the idea that we do not need systems of control to find salvation. True spiritual freedom cannot be dictated by external rules. It must be found within each of us. Today, the revolutionary ideas of Marcion and the mysteries revealed by Gnostic texts resonate in a world thirsty for meaning. We live in an era of profound spiritual transformations, where people are questioning imposed dogmas and seeking a more authentic connection with God. But how can these ancient reflections shape our understanding today? The essence of Marcion's message was not merely theological, it was liberating. By proposing that the true God was not a force of control and judgment, but a presence of unlimited love, he planted the seed of a spirituality rooted in introspection and freedom. This vision finds echoes in modern practices like meditation, mindfulness, and the quest for universal consciousness, tools that help us rediscover what has always been within us, the divine essence. But there is something even deeper. When we examine the social and religious structures that have shaped our history, we see how fear has been used to dominate and oppress. The image of an angry, punitive God served to justify wars, inequalities, and power systems that kept humanity under control. Marcion and texts like the Gospel of Judas offer a powerful alternative, the idea that true divinity does not seek control but emancipation. This emancipation begins with the awakening of each individual. The realm of Barbello, described as a space of spiritual purity, transcends the material world and invites us to reflect on our own ability to commune with God. It is not something reserved for a select few, but a universal call for those who dare to question, seek, and find. This journey does not require grand temples or intermediaries, only the courage to confront the narratives that have held us captive for so long. However, this transformation does not come without challenges. Accepting that the divine resides within us and that we hold the power to shape our spirituality requires a paradigm shift. It is an invitation to leave behind the comfort of established beliefs and embark on an uncertain, yet profoundly rewarding journey. And this journey, as Judas demonstrated, will not always be understood or accepted by those around us. The legacy of a forgotten truth. As we near the end of this journey, an inevitable reflection arises. Why have ideas like Marcion's, so revolutionary, remained in the shadows for so long? Perhaps the answer lies in the very nature of his revelations. It is not just a battle between doctrines or religious interpretations, but a struggle over the narrative of what it means to be human, divine, and free. The legacy of Marcion and Gnostic texts like the Gospel of Judas extends beyond the forgotten pages of history. It resonates in every person who dares to question, who seeks more than prepackaged answers, who feels that spirituality must be something deeper than blind obedience. These texts remind us that the connection with God is not a distant or authoritarian force, but an essence pulsing within us, waiting to be discovered. The realm of Barbello, with its purity and transcendence, symbolizes this discovery. It represents a state of consciousness where the limitations of the material world and the chains of fear are overcome. But reaching this state requires courage. The courage to confront imposed narratives, to challenge power structures, and to accept that perhaps spiritual freedom lies in each of our hands. This is where Marcion's message finds its place in the present. In a world saturated with information and power struggles, his vision offers us an alternative, to reconnect with our own essence. It is not about rejecting the past entirely, but about viewing it with fresh eyes, discerning what is authentic from what has been shaped by earthly interests. This journey does not end here. What you have heard so far is just an introduction to a vast universe of spiritual possibilities. The call Marcion, made centuries ago, still echoes today. If you enjoyed this content and want to support us in bringing more information and reflection, subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us move forward and inspires us to continue creating more content. Share your thoughts in the comments below.